Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the JavaScript object, and in this video we will go for the definition of the object, and then after we will go for some of the points of the object, right? So basically the object is one of the most useful data structure inside the JavaScript, a collection of associated key values pairs. Basically that is the JavaScript. That is basically the definition of the JavaScript. And in this video we will cover these points, that is how to create an object, add the property to an object, modify the properties of an object, remove the property of an object, this keyword and objects. We will discuss some of the object methods, right? So at first we are going for the first point, that is how to create an object. So there are two ways for creating an object, that is the literal notation and object constructor function. So if we need to create an object, suppose I have my object and I need to create this object. So this is basically a structure for creating an literal object. And if we have to, and there are another method for creating an object, that is known as the constructor function. So for creating the object using the constructor function, we use this way. This is the way for creating an object using constructor function. So both way we can be able to create an object, but most recommended way for creating an object is to use the literal notation, right? So because the object constructor function is little bit slower as compared to the literal notation, right? Now we will go for the second point, that is add property to an object. So suppose here I am creating an object, because why we need to create the property to an object? Basically object includes some properties that can be explained about what do you mean by that object, right? So suppose I have employee. I am taking employee as an object, right? And here I am using the literal notation for creating an object, right? Now I am creating the properties of an object. So there are two ways for creating the properties of an object, that is the dot notation and the square bracket notation. So here I am using first dot notation for creating an object, and I am adding the name of the employee, right? Now I am adding the age of the employee, and for that purpose I am using the square bracket notation, and that will be to 28. Now I am going to add the salary of the employee, and for that purpose I am using the square bracket notation, and that will look like this, right? And now I am going to add a function that I am going to add a function to this employee, and this basically return this message: salary has been credited to employee. Salary has been credited to employee. Now if I am going to print this employee, just mentioning here employee, right? Here we got the employee, right? So this is the way for creating an employee, using either the square bracket notation or using the dot notation. Now how to modify the properties of an object? For modifying the properties of an object, we use the same approach. Just like for creating an object I have used the square bracket notation or dot notation. Similarly, if I need to update the salary of the employee, right? So I am using the same property, and here I am updating just like right. So if I am going to print after employee modification, right, I am going to print employee. So initially the value was initially the value contains the salary of 5,000. Now it's contained the 80,000. So the value has been modified, the object properties have been modified, right? So this way we will modify the properties of an object, right? Now remove the properties of an object, and for removing the properties of an object we use the delete method. Delete employee dot, what we want to delete, age suppose, and here I am going to printing after removing age of employee, right? I'm going to print here. Now let's see. Now at this point where the employee has been created, age has been displayed, right? Or after the modification we also got the age values, but after deletion at this point we are not getting the age value, right? We are not getting the age properties. So this way we can be able to delete the properties from an object, remove the properties from an object. So this is a way for removing the properties from an object. Now the next point is this keyword. Next point is this keyword. Right. Now actually I am commenting the above console so that we can be able to focus on our target point. This keyword. Basically this keyword is used for accessing the properties of this. There are various use of this keyword inside the JavaScript, but at this point where we are going for the objects, at this point this keyword is basically used for accessing the properties of an object, during some performing some operation inside that object also. So suppose employee object contains a payment method, right? Now suppose if I want to print the name of the employee inside this object, inside this method, or the salary of this employee inside this method, then how we can be able to access the properties of this employee object? So for that purpose this keyword is basically used. So here what I am doing, here I am updating the get method and modifying its messages, right? How to modifying? Let's check. Here I am returning here I am printing the message like this. I am using backtick, this dot name. Basically I am using the object as an employee, so I can be able to access the properties of employee using this keyword. So I am writing this dot name has been has been credited with amount of using the $sign and accessing the salary of the employee. Salary. So this way we can be able to use this keyword for accessing the properties of an object. Now console.log print object method. So I am here writing dot get payment. If I am going to print this, so print the object method, and here the message is being printed, that is John has been credited with amount of 80,000. So this is the way for using this keyword, and with the help of this keyword we can be able to access the properties of an object. Right? Now we are going for the next point, that is the object methods. Object method, that is basically that we have initially talked about, that is we can able to create an object using object method like this, right? So this is the way for creating an object. So we have already created an object with the employee, and now if you want to find the keys of that object or values of that object, so for that purpose object provides these two functions, that is object.keys and object.values. So if I want to get the keys of employee, then keys of employee I'm writing here object, so that we do not have to confuse. We do not need to confuse, right? Object dot keys, and here we need to pass the object name, that will be the employee, right? So this basically prints the properties keys of employees, and if you need to print the properties of the employee, then properties or values of employee object. So here I am writing values. So this print basically the values of employee. So in this video we have discussed all about the objects, and we have also covered the points like how to create an object, how to add the properties to an object, how to modify the properties of an object, how to remove the properties from an object, what is the we talked about this keyword, and we also discussed about what is the basic concept for this keyword inside the object, and then after we have talked about the object methods. So this is all about the objects. So now in the next video we will come with some different topics. Till now, goodbye, and if you find this video as a valuable, then please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.